Greetings, I'm Michael Quinn Patton, here to discuss authentic evaluation, what it is, how it has emerged in the history of evaluation, and its current status. What occasions these reflections is that the Merriam-Webster dictionary has just named the 2023 word of the year, and it is authentic. An interesting choice, based upon the frequency with which a word has been searched. I began my career 50 years ago, focused on authentic assessment, and we'll talk about what that is and how it emerged and its influence on the field. And reframing validity as authenticity was one of the contributions of Guba and Lincoln to positioning qualitative evaluation inquiry. So we'll have a look at authenticity in evaluation. The Merriam-Webster announcement says that authentic is hard to define and subject to debate. Two reasons it sends many people to the dictionary. There are a number of definitions that something is authentic if it's worthy of acceptance or belief as conforming to or based on fact. Evaluators deal with things that are factual, conforming to an original so as to reproduce essential features, made or done the same way as an original, not false or imitation, real and actual, or true to one's own personality, spirit, or character. And therefore, you get this kind of paradoxic phenomenon that Donald Trump, as a narcissistic sociopath, can be considered authentic as a narcissistic sociopath unless he's just pretending to be a narcissistic sociopath. And making that judgment is a matter of how one views him as authentic or not. And so authenticity has become increasingly important, according to the Merriam-Webster announcement, with the rise of artificial intelligence and its impact on deepfake videos, actors' contracts, academic honesty, and a vast number of other topics. The line between real and fake has become increasingly blurred. And evaluation is a part of that global battle, the battle between facts, evidence, truth, data, reality, thinking, authenticity, versus post-truth, fake news, alternative facts, make-believe, groupthink, distortions, and inauthentic patterns. One of the things that apparently propelled searches for the word authentic was Taylor Swift announcing that she was seeking her authentic voice and authentic self, which sent thousands of Swifties to the dictionary to find out what authentic meant. And so, in evaluation, the occasion of authentic being the 2023 word of the year gives us an opportunity to think about authentic assessment. And that's what I propose to undertake. Authentic assessment emerged in the 1960s as part of the progressive education, open education, informal education movement to make learning more experiential and not to rely upon standardized achievement tests as the primary basis for assessment. Authentic assessment, then, was assessment based upon not reading tests, but children actually reading, not math tests, but children using math in projects, a project and portfolio approach to student assessment. And in that work, authentic assessment focused on the process and continuum of learning, not just the outcomes, and they take into consideration many more facets or dimensions of a student's progress than standardized tests. In fourth generation evaluation in 1989, Egon Guba and Guba Lincoln reconceptualized the idea of validity as authenticity. They argued that the language of quantitative measurement should not be the language used in qualitative inquiry. and the different terminology was needed to do justice to the distinct nature of qualitative inquiry. And so the hallmark of authenticity for Guba and Lincoln was trustworthy, rigorous, and valid qualitative evaluation. They identified authenticity criteria for assessing the goodness of an evaluation. The first of those criteria was fairness, the extent to which different constructions and their underlying value structures are solicited and honored within the evaluation process. That is, does the evaluation generate and take into account different perspectives about what's going on? Ontological authenticity they defined as the extent to which individual respondents' own constructions are improved, matured, expanded, and elaborated, in that they now possess, they being the participants in the study, they now possess more information and have become more sophisticated in its use. It is literally improvement in the individual's or group's conscious experiencing of the world. So ontological authenticity was a precursor of what we now know to be process use, and that is the impact of participating in an evaluation. In this case, the fact of being interviewed, of being part of an evaluation design, of learning to think evaluatively, would have the authentic impact of increasing the consciousness of the participants in the evaluation. Educative authenticity is the extent to which individual respondents' understanding of and appreciation for the construction of others outside their stakeholder group are enhanced. So what we have is the ontological authenticity is the individual's own increased consciousness of self and deepening appreciation of one's own perspective. Educative authenticity is the increased appreciation of how others perceive the world and their perspectives as a matter of authenticity. Catalytic authenticity they defined as the extent to which action is stimulated and facilitated by the evaluation processes. In other words, use. Catalytic authenticity is that an evaluation ought to lead to action. It ought to catalyze action and therefore be useful. And finally, tactical authenticity they describe as the degree to which stakeholders and participants are actually empowered to act. They commit to act, they're empowered to act, they take action. Likewise, Seville Kushner, in his book Personalizing Evaluation, both the first edition and the new second edition that has just come out, talks about the tenor of authenticity. A lovely phrase. The tenor of authenticity is its feel is given by the degree to which conversations that ensue from evaluation evoke images of society and its boundaries. In other words, judging an evaluation not just by findings about the program, but the extent to which it leads to and creates conversations authentically about what's going on in the world and how the participants and the program fit in that larger world. In preparing this video, I came across this marvelous quote from the French existential philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre, who said, "If you seek authenticity for authenticity's sake, you are no longer authentic." We do not seek authenticity as an end in itself. Authenticity is a means to make an evaluation meaningful, credible, and useful. And so I invite you to ask questions in your own arena, in your own context, about what being authentic means to you. What does authentic evaluation mean in your context? What does it represent? Does the conceptualization of authenticity as a criterion for judging the goodness of evaluation have meaning in your world? I would add to those reflections that authenticity is not an endpoint. It's not something you accomplish and are finished with. It's not a end goal. It is an ongoing process. something to work at, and it can't be guaranteed. Each context, each evaluation must examine the meaningfulness and nature of authenticity within that process and within that context, and it invites us to include attention to authenticity as a part of what it means to do high-quality evaluation, and to think about what it means in your world. Guba and Lincoln have made authenticity a core criterion for considering the quality of qualitative inquiry generally and qualitative evaluation specifically. And so I'll end this video with a review of the types of authenticity that they identified as important in evaluation. Ponder them, think about their relevance in your own work.